You're not going, right?
Huh?
You're gonna stay.
I'm gonna stay for at least the pledge of allegiance.
All right, if everyone please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would please remain standing as we remember those that have fallen in support of this country, and also for Robin Williams, a great man that also lost his life. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone for coming tonight. Just a quick note, I talked to the one gentleman because we knew that he was here for the cell tower. If anyone else is here for the cell tower, we are not handling that tonight because we are still waiting for all the information in. But we're pretty sure that we can have it done by the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks. Public comment on agenda items. Liaison department head reports, treasurer.
Good evening to the board. Our monthly report for August on treasurer and financial issues. The revenue expense control reports have been provided to the board, mayor, on the table down in the conference room. Please review it. If you have any questions, certainly contact me. We are at the beginning of the year, so the coffers are quite strong. But I do have some concerns about some spending that I'd like to review with the board after an executive session, because some of it relates directly to departments or people. But the reports seem to reflect proper financial transactions. The AUD preparation is in progress. Fortunately, all our last bills and claims were at the end of July, and so now we're working on preparing the documents for a submission no later than 1 October. Continuing to review the water fund to determine where rates are. I would like the board to give me a little bit of guidance on how we want to proceed with the consultant. We do have some good information provided to us from the village clerk, who had obtained some information that was compiled for a lot of villages and towns in the area, and it gives some pretty interesting information. My big takeaway is that we are probably one of the lowest charging entities for water services in the area. Not the lowest, but definitely in the bottom 25 percentile. And that's probably one of the reasons why the water department struggles to maintain its budget scenarios and having to borrow money to pay payroll before the collection period. Certainly the time of the collection period has a role, but the fact that it's a little underfunded makes a big difference too. So I'm going to try to provide the board with copies of all that so we can discuss it as we're able. One of the things that I was trying to be strong about in the budget was the issue of tax certioraries. Fortunately, the board this year set aside, I believe it was $20,000 for certioraries. We're about 3-4 months into the fiscal year, and we've almost eaten all $20,000. Okay. There are some big certioraries that are out there. Some of this is aged. Obviously, the economy's gotten better, but these were filed a year, 2-3 years ago, and they're now finally coming to fruition. But the issue of certioraries, I think, is very serious because they will affect our bottom line. And that's why in areas in the budget where we can impact, like overtime and spending and things that we use our funding for, we're going to have to even police that even more now, because more certs, there was already a couple petitioners that haven't went through the system yet, but if they come to get some type of reprieve that's gonna go against our bottom line also. So I just want to make it imperative to the board that our fiscal situation is stable, but we do have some headwinds. And we need to kind of mitigate these headwinds with some other policies as far as the way money's spent on payroll and on bills and claims. Okay, and I have some ideas, and I'll certainly relay them with the board, when we're able to discuss it. Okay.
I want to thank you for pushing the issue during the budget time to increase our contingencies and our reserves, in particular for the consortium. Thank you.
And where the problems lie also, because it's, bringing it to our attention is a big thing, because it's, we can act on it now rather than wait till the end of the year and say, well,
Yeah.
the money.
And that's gonna be my goal, is when I look at things, to try to just give you a heads up as soon as I can see them. Because right now is the time to deal with them, when we have a flush budget, not, next March, when we're really hunting for money because everything's tight. And with the new tax cap, it doesn't give us a lot of room unless you override the tax cap, and everybody's trying to obviously avoid that. So, you have a fixed increase at the end of the year, so we have to find ways to get to it before we get there. Okay, any other questions for me? Otherwise, that's my report for today. Okay. Thank you, board.
Thank you very much. Building.
Building department report for June and July. 13 permits, applications were received, 5 operating permits were issued, 5 certificates of compliance / occupancy were issued, 216 physical inspections were performed, 65 of which fire safety inspections. 68 complaints were opened, 3 of which were unregistered vehicles, 62 advisory / violation notices and notices of remedy were issued. 65 periodic inspections were opened, 1 of which was a landlord registration. 11 municipal searches were completed, 0 zoning variance applications were received, 0 planning board applications were received. That's it for the building department for June and July. Wastewater treatment?
Yeah.
Wow, it's 0.735 million gallons a day, 6 inches of rain. This is for the month of July. Facility metals, New York State speeding permit limitations, Pebble Lake pump stations and Havens Road facilities are checked regularly and operating properly. 17.8 tons of digested sludge processed through the belt filter press, disposed of by SpectraServe, Inc., belt filter press in operation 10 days. Chief Operator John Jones met with Jim Tilo, Old Guard Hotel Project, went over manholes on July 3rd, attended the department head meeting on July 8th, met with KM Enterprises at the Web Brain Pump Station and Pump Replacement Project on July 9th, met with the village engineer at Village Hall, going over master plans on July 10th, attended meeting with the planning board of the Old Guard Hotel on the 10th of July, repair and maintenance, Newfoundland Pump, Optimal Controls, Inc., installing new variable frequency drives on all 3 pumps, automatic composite samplers, 2 new ISCO automatic composite samplers installed and tested in the operation, belt filter air compressor, new pump motor installed, warranty work, sanitary sewer system, Pebble Lake Pump Station, TAM Enterprise removed number 2 pump from wet well, removed obstruction and reset pump back in service, maintenance lubrication of motors and machinery as required, maintenance of buildings and grounds as time allows, 27 days, man hours lost due to vacation, personal, and compensatory leave, 13 days, gas consumption, 52.9 gallons for the sewer plant.
Fire.
Fire. The loaner engine and the repairs to our engine have really been the central feature in the last 2 weeks. Chief Suarez would like to thank all the parties involved in both acquiring the loaner for $1 and also getting the emergency repairs started on engine 429. Is Chief Suarez here? I would like to get the contact information from the 3 departments that stepped up and had engines to offer us at a virtually no charge loan arrangement, and write a letter of thanks on behalf of the village board for their service. Wurtsboro was the winner, so to speak, in leasing us an engine. It has been picked up, the paperwork, and the lawyers worked diligently to get it all taken care of, and our office downstairs, I thank them for getting the insurance promptly. And so we do have a second fire truck in the house, and that's a great source of relief. The other thing, a very happy note, is the annual carnival starts on Wednesday the 20th in the evening and runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and extended hours on Saturday. So hopefully everyone will come and enjoy the deep fried Oreos and all the rides, and it is a great time. And I hope that is all.
Business Improvement Committee and Chamber of Commerce. The Business Improvement Committee and Chamber of Commerce meeting will be at Loma Side Street Saloon on Thursday evening at 5:30. So we'll start with the Business Improvement Committee and then move on to the Chamber. We are asking, again, all businesses, if you cannot make it, please, and you don't have a contact for Tom Osa of the Chamber, please contact the village. The more input, the more communication with the business community, the better we're going to be. Okay, we are on an upswing. This is a good time. Where the chamber's starting to grow, it's starting to build, but we're going to need everybody's input. Before I move into the mayor's report, I would like to introduce a captain from West Point. I'm going to not try to work the last name one more time, but I will say JD has come to the village with an excellent proposal, and I will give the floor to him.
Thanks, sir. I'm JD Mahundro. I teach at West Point. I just got here this summer. My idea, the mayor came and spoke to us, the West Point new faculty, whatever it was, day. And he came and the mayor expressed a desire to build a better relationship between the school and the community, which I also feel is something the Army kind of lacks across America. The Army tends to keep itself on post and kind of like shun contact with local communities. So in order to build a better community on both sides, my idea is to have like a one-day service project where the community will nominate projects ranging from fixing gutters or painting houses for the elderly to building park benches, footbridges in local parks, cutting trees in the local parks for cleanup. And the cadets will come in groups all in one day and execute these projects for the community. I will take care of the fundraising. I don't want this to be a burden on the community or on the manpower or monetary wise. Anyway, so the community's part would be to, number one, submit projects of an appropriate scope. I mean, realize these are college kids. They're not professional contractors. And number two, to show support for the cadets in the school when they come out to execute the projects. Make the community aware that the cadets and the school are making an effort to be better neighbors. And hopefully in time, over a number of years, maybe this can grow in scope and be, we'll call it like a big event where one day every year the school, just gives thanks to the local community for, being our neighbors and, this is where we come and shop and things like that. I think that is everything.
Well, you opened an amazing door. You're going to do the fundraising?
I did. I told the mayor that I would take care of the fundraising, at least in year one. I don't know if I'll even be here next year.
We're keeping you.
Anyway, that's my pitch.
Thank you.
The beautiful thing, no, please. the beautiful thing about what has been proposed, just so everyone understands, so you don't get the wrong idea, we already have groups that are coming on onto the village and the town that are doing projects throughout the year. Vision has been working with groups of cadets, as well as several other groups where they come on, whether it's cadre, cadets, families. So it's not like, oh, we're only going to get them one time a year. This is almost a whole nother animal. And it is in more a community relations to bring people together through projects. It's not even so much to get the projects done, but it's bringing the communities together through a building project effort. And as JD pointed out, I see this definitely shirts within 3 years, no way. But we can get corporate sponsors involved and do some really great things here in the community. So I want to thank you very much for coming out and making this offer to the village, and we are definitely taking you up on it. So if there's anybody that wants to get with JD in coordinating this, because I would definitely love to see at least 2 to 3 people from the village to help him get the projects. That's our job. The village has to let JD know these are the projects we would love to try and accomplish in the spring.
Yeah, and hopefully by, hopefully by next year, I can get some cadets that will take the leadership, and then the cadets can go find the projects themselves. But in year one, because I'm not from here, I just moved here, I don't have any contacts within the local neighborhood.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for letting me come up.
All right. Mayor's report. We have a few things to report. I've been working with Vision. We've talked about it last year, and we're hoping to put it into effect this year. For the last, for many years, we've had a double ceremony on 9/11, where we would have a ceremony in the village, and then a majority of that group would race down to Fort Montgomery to try to catch the second half of that ceremony. I personally would love to see one ceremony where we all get together and remember together. And with that, I approached Vision. They do the ceremony in Patriot Garden in Fort Montgomery. And we had talked about possibly alternating the main ceremony between Patriot Garden and Memorial Park year by year. And this year it will be at Patriot Gardens. And that will be on 9/11, and Vision will have that information coming out once they have all their ducks in a row. But what we were also doing as part of the 9/11 remembrance is the park that's not sponsoring the main event, along with, and I'm hoping Fort Montgomery Fire joins us. We've contacted them, we're just waiting for a response. But for when the towers were hit, the first and second time, the first time we were laying a wreath at Memorial Park this year, and the second, this time the second tower was hit, we'll be laying a wreath at the Fort Montgomery Firehouse. These are the 3 areas that the steel is presented. There's a piece here in Memorial Park, one in Patriot Gardens, and one at the Fort Montgomery Firehouse. And again, so there'll be separate times through the day, so people aren't racing back and forth to try and make a ceremony. And rather than try to have 2 ceremonies, we can concentrate it and make one really nice remembrance for the community. That's. We have another event coming up, and that is Halloween. Another event that we were trying to combine, not to have less events on Halloween, but to coordinate it so that we're not having 2 and 3 events on the same day. So that people can enjoy, instead of having to choose, they can have 2 to 3 to 4 events during a Halloween weekend. So right now we are putting together the Halloween committee. Last year, a phenomenal addition was the trunk and treat, and we want to thank the people that put that together. That will be happening again this year, as well as the parade, the party at Sacred Heart. I know there's 2 to 3 other parties. So again, if you are planning on anything for Halloween, if you could call me at the village, and I'll put you in touch with the people that are coordinating the Halloween festivities. Because we're not looking to, what we want to do is adjust times so that, again, the kids can go to as many activities as possible. All right. Section 8. Let's talk about it. I had a conversation with the state. There was this concern prior to me becoming mayor, and since I've become mayor, about Section 8. People have said, why do we have it? Why do we have so much? What are we doing about it? Who's controlling it? Who's watching it? So I went and I asked the questions so we can answer them. The answer to one of the bigger questions is we cannot get rid of Section 8. For those thinking that all we have to do is turn it off or send in a letter saying we're not doing Section 8, we can't. And I want to quickly explain to you what I was told by the state as to what's going on. Unfortunately, when this program was started in the village, we are one of 4 that have separate programs in this county. 3 cities and our village. The city of Newburgh, the city of Middletown, and Port Jervis. And the village of Highland Falls. So the information I have, we have 65 families plus a 3-year waiting list. This is where we're at right now. When contacting the state, I said, what can we do to manage this better? The problem is not people that need it in our community. The problem is we have become a community that people are targeting to come to and receive Section 8. That's the problem. We want to take care of our people, without question, whatever help's needed. We are getting people coming from the Bronx and Brooklyn, 3 hours upstate, downstate. And I know this because I'm getting the phone calls from these people questioning about when can I put my application in. Okay? That's what we're concerned with. We're not concerned with the people that are here that need help. We're concerned with the number continuously growing and us supporting a population and everyone coming from all these cities. A village was not meant to be a Section 8 hub. That's what cities are for. There are places for small areas for Section 8, but not the numbers we have. So, to give you a quick update, there are 2 forms of Section 8 in our community. There is a county Section 8, which is throughout the county. So even those communities that say we don't have Section 8, have Section 8. They don't know it. I was unaware we had additional Section 8 until talking to the state. I've heard conversations, but not the facts. The county-run program, run through the state, is a voucher system that the county program goes out and solicits Section 8 housing from all the communities. Once they've secured the Section 8 housing, then they give a voucher to the person applying for Section 8 that gets it, and that person can go anywhere in Orange County on the list. And the list can be all the towns. We have no control over that whatsoever. We also have no control over the Section 8 program, pretty much no control over the Section 8 program that we have. It's a private program that we established many years ago, and it is now run in Albany by the Mastriani company. If we wanted to turn off Section 8, all that would happen is all the families on Section 8 would move over to the county program, including everybody on the waiting list, over to the county program. And he was quite blunt, he was as helpful as he could be, but he's like, you're not losing anyone. You'll continue the number, and then everyone on the waiting list will also get vouchers for the whole county, but it all depends on what's available. To give an idea of one of the only ways that we can address the situation so that people aren't coming here to get Section 8 is not through the Section 8 program, but through our own community. We've stated before that the village is, if not half, more than half, rentals. We need ownership in this village. We need people to invest and be a part of this village. And we need the owners of the rentals to work with us so that the numbers do not increase on Section 8. And when I say increase, I mean increase by bringing in people from all over the state to have Section 8 here. We don't have the facilities to accommodate Section 8 living. It's just that simple. That's why they're mainly in cities. So I wanted to give you an update. The board is still working on solutions, but there were a lot of questions about it. Those are the answers I got from the state. No questions, great. Moving on. The vision for the village. I'm going to just do a quick synopsis of some things, since I was asked, what are you doing? What are you doing? You've been there for a year and a half. What are you doing as mayor? Well, besides day-to-day, the phone calls, the emails, taking care of the different departments, on top of the large projects, we have a lot of small projects, obviously, and the managing of the village itself. But what I see for the village, the goals, the larger projects that we're working on are the development of the potential land on 9W. We are meeting with the superintendent on Thursday, followed by a meeting with the new garrison commander. We've had very positive communication from West Point. We're going to go for it again, but this time it's going to be different. In the past, the land has been, for the most part, has been asked for, and there wasn't a full-scale plan prior to getting the land, prior to asking for the land, of what's going to be done on the land. We already have developers that have approached the village to utilize a majority of the land that is going to be proposed to give back. And the other biggest part is the proposition, the possibilities on this land is not just going to benefit the village or the town. It's going to benefit West Point. That's a part of the equation that I feel when we're doing anything needs to happen. Why would the government just want to give us the land back? The majority of the give-backs that they've given are because they can't handle the land. These are lands that are not being used anymore. We don't want to take care of them, so we're going to give them back to communities throughout the country. That was the majority of the land that's been given back. The land here, though they're not using it, it's not necessarily want to give it back. So we have to show them not only why it's beneficial to this community, but why it's beneficial to West Point and the government. And that's what we're working on now. That I see, part of that is not just commercial. That was the other thing that in the years past, industrial. We want industrial and commercial on the property. We don't want to affect the schools, the police departments, the fire departments. I do. I believe that we do not have enough people in this community to support our schools or our businesses. I think that we need to grow this town. I'm not looking for a city. I'm not looking for this massive metropolis. If we double the size of this town, we'll still be smaller than most communities in Orange County. But we will have more families participating in our village. We'll have more people and more of a tax base coming down and using the stores here in the town. We can't depend on the tourists that have not been stopping for years to bring this town back. That's got to be a whole nother issue that we are working on, and what we're working on with that is marketing. We have to market ourselves better, and in marketing, figure out what we're missing. What are we missing in this community? And not for the tourists, and not for our neighbors, for us. Because everything we do to better this community makes it a better community for us. So, out of that, some of the groups that we're working on, besides the chamber, besides the business improvement committee, besides the community outreach, the Main Street Committee. That's why these groups are coming together, to make these improvements, ask the questions. What does our community need? Okay, if you have these questions, if you want to be part of making this better, again, Charlie Murphy is running the community outreach program. Tom Osa is running the chamber. If you don't know how to get and Tom Modlin, Jim Modlin is running the Business Improvement Committee. Okay, and Elaine Dabra is running the Main Street Committee. These are groups that are working to make this better. It's not an overnight solution. If you want to be a part of it, please, if you don't know how to contact the individuals, contact the village. Over the next 2 or 3 meetings, I don't want to take up all the time, we're going to be giving you piece by piece of other things that we're doing, that we're working on, and how we're trying to improve the community. Just a quick note also, I'd like to thank the town. They accepted our proposal for the water agreement, which means we now have another $90,000 in our reserve to make improvements on the water plant. Again, just so you're aware, we're not looking to get more water, we're looking to be able to process more water. We have enough water available in Bog Meadow at this time, but we can't process the amount that we want right now. We have sufficient water to do with who's here today, but it's time to look 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. So part of the agreement that this board asked for and the town accepted was to start off the fund with $90,000, which would equate what they would have spent on raising the Bog Meadow a foot, which we don't need at this time. Doing the meter pits and the chlorination and the maintenance of the chlorination, which was another piece that we put in, and we want to thank them for that. We also want to thank them for accepting as our beginning of consolidation. We asked the historian be combined and to just have the town historian. They accepted that at their meeting, which was great. And right now, in fact, I talked to Bob this morning. We are working on, the village is working on the parks as our next step. While that's going on, we are still working on DPW. It's a much bigger piece. And I'm going to ask Gina to invite the police commissioner and the police chief of the town to a meeting at 10:30, hopefully on Wednesday. This Wednesday, we want to get it moving so that we can start putting together our proposal for combining the police departments. We will be having some community meetings so that we can inform the public, but I would ask, if you're reading the paper, if you're talking to people on the street, that, and if you can't get, because I know people with Dish cannot get the TV, it is available online. And if you're not online or you don't have a computer, you can get to the library. We're going to give most of the information out here. We will have public meetings so that information can be back and forth, because that's important. It is important that people are as educated as possible about what we're doing. That's it.
Also, I kind of read newspaper also.
Yes. Have to. Can I do that already? Is there a police board?
That was
No,
last
it
week.
was they only do once a month. But actually, Ken, on that, if you stick around to the, for exec, we need to touch base with you. Discussion. Nothing under discussion. Old business? No. New business. Approval of minutes is written regular meeting August 4th, 2014. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes in your packet?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. I have a request to extend the farmer's market from October 26th to November 2nd, 2014. That is in your packet. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Do they need additional proof of insurance?
It covers the period.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Hey,
Opposed? Moved. I have a request for the parade for JDK football, September 5th, from Gray Line Erie to Memorial Park, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. It is in your packet. Do I have a motion?
Insurance?
Insurance is here.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
We do?
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Questions, Charlie? No.
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to request for Roe Park Court Hoops Challenge, Thursday, August 21st. That is this Thursday, from 12 to 7. This is a reschedule, we've already approved it for the 2nd, but there was a bad weekend for the weather, so they're gonna try and do it on the 21st. I have to commend this person once again, because Norm not only would have not have taken place on the 2nd, but there wouldn't have been a second thought of not doing it, not rescheduling it. He has stayed up with it, he's kept all his people together, and he's gonna try to make sure it happens on this Thursday between 12 and 7 at the park, if I get a motion. Yes, the insurance has to be in place for it to happen.
Okay,
It is being redone.
okay.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution Budget Amendment 2014-2015. Whereas the insurance recoveries of $2,537.45 have been received from the village's insurance company, Gallagher Bassett Services, Inc., and whereas this revenue has been designated to offset the cost of repairs on the police chief's vehicle, now therefore be it resolved that due to an unanticipated revenue from the insurance company, the Board of Trustees approved an amendment to increase the appropriation budget A3120.0400 police contractual from $2,537.45 and the revenue code A2680 insurance recoveries to $2,537.45 for the fiscal year 2014-2015. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Brown, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Mellon, roll call.
Trustee Mellon,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Murphy,
Aye.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. I have a request for the village treasurer for training for advanced accounting course this September. You do not have that paperwork in front of you, I don't think. But I believe that it's, oh, we have it right here? It's right here. It actually is with you. There's it right here. Okay? This is something I've talked to Ed about. Again, some of this training becomes invaluable when you get information that saves us thousands and thousands of dollars that you do not get on a regular basis. So I would like to get a motion to send Ed to this course.
I make the motion to send that for the training for.
I have a motion, Mr. Mellon, do I have a second? Second, Mr. Brown, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. I need to reschedule the meeting from Monday, September 1st to Tuesday, September 2nd due to Labor Day holiday. Do I have a motion?
Sure. So moved.
Charlie Murphy, do I have a second?
Second.
Bob Mellon, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So move. I need a motion to accept the bills and claims for the year 14-15 in the amount of $39,165.39.
Move for discussion?
Well, let's do a motion. I always got you on discussion, Charlie. I got you. Do I have a motion?
You do.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, the bills look in order. There are a couple vouchers that have not been signed by the department heads. I assume they'll be signed before bills are paid. There was a Home Depot bill in there lacking receipts, purchase order, and the voucher wasn't signed. So, do we want to pull that one out, or?
We can.
They don't get sent until that is provided to us. It's just easier since you don't have a meeting for 2 more weeks, that when the department head provides it, which he has it, he says,
Okay,
but it won't go out until we do have all those things, or then it gets voided, but we do give him a chance. He was on vacation, so he was trying to get it paid. Again, our timing of paying, because of the 2-week period, we try to get what we can done.
Charlie?
that's satisfactory. There was also another bill for a lot of car washes that appeared to have had, some minor tax added to it also. The sales tax, I think, were exempt.
We are.
Is that should be in the police budget? That?
Yes, with vehicle maintenance.
Oh, it doesn't come out of the police budget?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
Under vehicle maintenance.
okay.
It may not seem like a lot, but I do know that when we had the community service program, they were washing them down the ambulance corps free, technically for
We
free.
took advantage of that.
So, Ken, if you could talk to the judges,
Yeah.
see if they can
That
get
program
Bill
is
some more people, we can kill this bill, okay? I'm actually being serious. 'Cause I'm not, I wanna talk to him too. I think that's something that's an excellent program that we need to re-energize. Because simple things like this, where you can save that $120 here, $150 here, 200, that adds up. And it adds up to money that we can spend in other areas that we need. And this is just one of the areas, let alone what Bill's already been doing down at the ambulance corps. So, that's something that we do need to follow up on. Okay, as far as, I realize that we're waiting on those, things before we do Home Depot, but,
If you wanna pull it, we can pull it.
I wanna pull it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I actually, I want to, particularly with paying bills, I don't wanna be delinquent, but I don't mind holding on to cash a little longer until we have everything in place. And I know Ed gets a nickel out of every penny, so, I also don't wanna pay it soon. I don't wanna pay it early, I never wanna pay early.
Where does material go?
The Home Depot material?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Sandcrete and it was Kevin Burns.
Okay,
What?
good. What are they doing?
Those-
Fixing
Sidewalks?
storm drains or something?
Yes, the last 2 weeks they've been doing drains and now, actually, now that you bring that up,
You know-
that's an executive thing.
Okay.
Are we taking it out or leaving it in?
We're taking it out.
Take it out.
Just as a point of order. Just brought it up because you made it happen, Charlie. Let them be angry, Charlie. Charlie brought it up.
But
Uh,
I'm only making an issue of it because,
We didn't know what it was.
I made the issue.
well,
I did.
but it's on a credit card. A lot of, so we could pay penalties if we're past a certain time. Or interest.
Did you want to pull it or not?
Well,
I,
We're not pulling it.
We know what it is.
Charlie's changed her mind.
She's twisting
We're
her
not.
arm.
I,
Let's pay it.
yes,
You're killing
I'm
me.
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We have to raise these flags. But the problem isn't the fact of paying the bill. The problem is the fact that
We didn't know
we
what
need
it
to get
was.
the information sooner. And
Yes.
being on vacation, we have to make sure that whoever's in charge while you're on vacation, which happens here. Things happen here every day. And before the person in charge goes on vacation, they make sure things are gonna continue and balls aren't gonna be dropped. This was a ball drop. And it's something that we'll have to bring up at the department head meeting. And that's that. And so that's gonna have to be brought up. Because that should not be an issue. You shouldn't have to wait just because who knows if they're out or sick. Now we get nothing for 3 weeks. So it's not so much a Home Depot issue as much as a department head issue. And I'll take care of that at the meeting on Wednesday.
So you need a motion to pay that?
I need no, we have a motion in a second. All's in favor?
I,
Opposed? So moved. Public comment. Public comment. Does anyone want to, I'm assuming you want to say something, sir?
Yes.
Well, please.
I don't want to be difficult. I have a couple,
Do me a favor, come over here, because we'll hear you, but the whole point of having the camera was to make sure the community heard you, so.
okay. I have a couple, quality of life issues on Snyder Avenue. The bars are making a lot of noise. The one bar, Lomas, they leave the door open, their windows open Friday and Saturday night, the music is banging. I shouldn't have to call every week to get it turned down. Lately, behind Benny Havens, they used to have a block wall. They removed that and put up a chain link fence. It's keeping no noise in. I mean, you get people out there drinking and yelling at one another till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. you know, it's one thing to be woken up by it, but to get out of bed, make the phone call, it's more disturbing. The other thing is street being washed. We're not supposed to park there. That's fine. But the village should get there to clean the street. We go weeks without it being cleaned, but cars are getting ticketed pretty regularly. You know, the tickets went from $10 to $50, and sometimes the machine will go down the road the wrong way and doesn't come back up. So only half the street's getting washed. You know, it should, every Friday, move the cars, we should get washed. And what was the third thing? Dogs. Something's gotta be done with dogs being walked on a leash and allowed to relieve themselves on private property and just walk away from it. I recently had a situation, I went down to the police department and I was pretty much told, there's nothing we can do. I asked to, you know, look at the cameras, only 2 people in the police force can look at the cameras, and they're nowhere around. When I finally talked to the chief, oh, nothing could be seen. Now, I'm not saying you need to have enough evidence to bring somebody to court and send them away for a couple of years. But if you see somebody walking down the street and somebody's complaining with the dog, and somebody complains that the dog just relieved himself, should be enough evidence on that camera to say, hey, your dog just walked down the street, this was just placed here, clean it up. But the attitude seems to be, that's not big enough crime. I asked if I picked it up, brought it down, put it on their stoop, what would happen? I was told I would be arrested. Why wasn't the person who left it on my stoop arrested? Not even that I think it needs to be, just somebody sent over to pick it up. Dog owner.
It does seem that there has been a greater laxity on the part of dog owners cleaning up after their dogs. I've noticed it along the highway going toward West Point. It's gotten to be almost to the point of being a health issue.
Well, from what I've heard, seen, it's not a police responsibility, so we have to come up with some other
Well,
situation.
no, the police do ticket when they see. And I understand your issue with the camera. Unfortunately, the camera does do the entire area. I did talk to the chief about that, and it can't be, to fixate it on one specific area, that would mean we need 4 cameras instead of 1.
I understand, but
And
you have 2 cameras that handle both ends of that street. Both of them were facing a different direction?
We only have 1 camera on that area.
There's one at the top of Snyder, and there's one down on Main Street that I was told shoots that direction.
The
too.
one on Main Street is not in that area. That's you being misinformed. I know where the one on Main Street is.
I thought it's in front of the old
Ken-
general store or whatever was there.
The general store, which is over by Tobin's, it's 4 stores down. It can't shoot up Snyder. The
No,
camera.
but it can show, at that time that I mentioned to the police.
You're saying
somebody
on
walking
Main,
out
on the
end
bottom
of
of Main and Schneider?
Right, it might show the person walking out of that street in that 5-minute time frame, walking a dog. Like I said, I don't expect them to be put away for years for it, but just a cop should be able to come out and say, hey, you know what, your dog just relieved itself, can you go pick it up?
Without question, when it's seen, I agree with you 110%. We're working on as far as what can be seen. In fact, that's what a gentleman had said he wants to try and help us with more cameras, more looking at the other areas of the village, and more eyes on the cameras. That actually was talked about the last 2 meetings. But as far as let's talk West Point Highway and other areas where there isn't cameras, the problem here becomes, one, was somebody there? The problem is nobody wants to upset anyone else. you see the dog going, and 4 people are walking by, and they kind of turn their head and keep walking. Instead of, in a small community, being able to say, you know, when they walk, seriously? You know, or if, you know, or make the call. Someone just walked away from dog. It is an issue. You're right. It is an issue.
I mean, this wasn't on a
But-
sidewalk.
I understand.
This was on my front stoop.
Right. But unless it's seen at the time that it's being done, it's not, we can't, I'll tell you right now, we can do something. We can ticket them when we see it, or someone comes to file a complaint that sees the person. And that's unfortunately, and I know that we get a lot of people that call in, and we are working to do as much as possible. I'm not gonna lie, we're not at 100%. We are not at 100% anyway. But the best way to actually lock it down, and I appreciate 2 people came in this week as we brought this up, was signing a complaint. Signing a complaint is something now we can move forward. There's too many times where we get the phone call, this is happening, our unit goes up, and within that 5-minute span, it stopped. They're not gonna sit there for a half an hour, they may sit there for 5 minutes, but wait, nothing's happening, we're gonna move to the next section. Then it may happen again, whether it's noise, whether it's a dog barking, whether it's this, whether it's that. Well, I call again, he goes back up. He goes back up, they don't see anything. It's being done, but if you see it, and you come down and do a complaint form, and then they see it and they do a complaint, now there's something there. That's something that we can move on. That's something that we can do. But without that, us going up, checking it, not getting anything out of it, we can't follow up
So
on
the
it.
noise complaint's calling it at night. Every time we have to come down and fill out a complaint?
Not during the, you don't have to come down during the hours. And I'm not saying we have to build a 30-page thing, but having, just like anyone's file, just like any file, once you have several pieces in the file, it gives more weight to the officers of when they go to an establishment and say, seriously, you gotta take it down, and they're like, what? Because they saw the officer coming, or the song was over, or this or that. Now I have 4 complaints over the last 2 weeks. This isn't something I'm making up. I'm not making this up. The complaints are here. Help work with us. You know, again, we're not looking to, we need to work together. The wall in back of Benny's did help the noise. So maybe we're gonna need to talk to them about possibly putting something back up. If they're gonna have people out back, have something there so that the people in the back community aren't affected at 2 in the morning. Because, you know, you don't wanna tell the bar owner, you gotta shut down at 9 o'clock because everybody wants to go to sleep on a Saturday. But at the same time, the people want to go to sleep at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So we gotta try to find that happy medium. And maybe for that is to see if we can get some kind of a barrier up, a noise reduction.
The SLA has to approve that. They have to come down, look, because there's money to be made outside, and you just can't erect it on your own. You have to file a petition, they come down, they photograph it. Any improvement, they must be notified first.
State Liquor Authority?
Absolutely.
So if something is removed, which allows the noise to
They're
go
supposed to
further,
notify New York State Liquor Authority to tell them that they have now removed a place that they were conducting business on and making money. Because any establishment is controlled by how many occupancies you have. So they're getting a number on how many people are in your bar. So if you're selling outside the perimeter of the scope, you are in violation of the State Liquor Authority.
did they apply for a permit?
And that's
With the
considered
wall-
a cabaret license.
We'll
I have
fol-
a cabaret license.
We'll follow up on that. I
Right.
can't tell you answers to any of those
Yeah,
questions.
to me, it shouldn't be the people right around always calling. The owner of the businesses have to police
Right.
themselves.
I'd like to address that, because Saturday, I know you had mentioned my name, and yes, the police came up, all 3 came into the bar, the sheriff, James Harpy, another fellow came along with him, Phil, I believe, and they came right into the bar. We said, you know what, it's reasonable. And the reason that it wasn't reasonable is when they're outside, A cadet had opened our front window. So I went in very nicely, and they see me approach and said, listen, you cannot open the windows. Okay, you just can't. So when people have the right to come and go freely, in and out of the door, they have a right to. We
And I
can't.
have a right to
We're not
speak.
gonna, we're not
I'm
gonna,
not
no,
always
no,
saying-
no,
Pat, you're not being
no,
fair.
no. I'm being very fair.
All
This
right.
is not a back and forth, and it's, I dig it, not a back and forth,
All right.
not a debate. This is public comment, and I'm allowing you to speak. We're not gonna go back and forth.
Okay, fine. When he's done, I'll speak. Thank you.
Like I said, I think the owners of the businesses should take care of it. You know, if they see a window open and at, 11 o'clock at night and the noise is getting out there, then they should go over and close it. I shouldn't have to call the police and say, hey, can you have them go over, turn the music down, and close their windows?
You're 100% right, and again, the problem being that specifically it was busy, and I'm not gonna speak on this
First
because
day
she
in
will.
100. Right,
If
first
it's
day.
busy, you can have 5 members on staff with a packed bar, and someone opens that window, they have no idea, because it's not gonna change the volume in the inside.
Right.
Then
The
take a
officers
little
were
now
in
off.
the building. They
Right.
stood in the building.
Well-
And they did not find it excessive.
Okay,
So
and
we
that's,
went outside and I pointed out it must be the window.
but there is, we don't have 500 bars, and we don't have, we have a couple, we wanna work with them, and we wanna make sure the bars respect the community, so it's important that you're here, and it's important that you made the phone calls you did, because, and I don't expect you to have to do it every weekend. And I know obviously you guys have a relationship, because there's been issues,
We don't have any.
and, no, there's been issues and you've been dealing with them.
Totally.
But we have to stay on top of it, and we have to try and make sure, now we know there's sometimes we're open the windows. I'm sure that the staff now knows to make sure they keep a lookout over, especially when it's warmer and it's cold outside, they're trying to get some air. I'm sure that they're on top of that, because I've been in the bars as well, trying to deal with some of these problems at night, because I want to know firsthand, not just continuously hear from people. But as far as the other things, and I'll tell you what, we will be dealing with 1 or 2 of these issues for the next couple of weeks, as far as the cameras and street sweeper, without question. We will be looking into the wall and back there to keep a little bit more, and I appreciate your assistance. This is the kind of assistance we need from the community to make sure it's better for everyone, so I'm sure you're not the only one
Mhm.
that has issues with all of these things, and I appreciate you coming to represent them.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay, let me start with 2 weeks ago, I stopped at the
4
police
minutes.
department and I asked them to please maybe check the background where he's talking about behind Benny's, okay? Because my bar closed at 12:30, 2:15, I get a phone call, your music is too loud. I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, we have not been open for 2.5 hours. As I left my place, I could see why, there was 15 kids on top of the building partying behind Benny's, whatever. So the police officer said he would go back there and check it out. Those are the kinds of things that we deal with. Okay, we're well aware of the music. Paul stands on the door. We know. The police came in and they agreed that it's not excessive. This is a bar. People have a right, when the door swings open and they're waiting for a ride or they're having conversation, the noise travels with them. Another problem it's not a problem, but something that was brought up, that maybe the people that keep calling that seem to have a problem, Mrs. King has never once had an issue, and she's right next to my bar. But there's only the one fellow, 6 or 9 up the street. Maybe there should be a summons that would be going his way if he continues to annoy the 911 or the police department to come up and check on our place with the noise. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it goes both ways. If we're doing everything we can above and beyond the call of duty to keep our place tight, but yet people around us can just blow up the police department and say, oh, come up. And, it's embarrassing for the police department to come and say, you know what noise? We're here, we're out here. And I can name every single officer that's on from, midnight to 8. They know the deal with us. We tighten it up at 11 o'clock, windows are closed, doors are shut. Everyone that wants to smoke goes outside. It's real simple. This isn't our first, walk in the park. We know the deal. We're here 5 years. But there's only one complaint on Schneider Avenue. And this fellow came down to address it, and that's fine that you did so. But you know what? One of the officers told me, I'm not going to mention his name. Right, one of the officers said to me, you know, there may be a time that we might have to give this person a summons because he is jamming us up on a 911. We don't have time to come up and say, okay, we're sitting out inside the bar, we're in the back of the bar. There's no excessive noise or music. People are moving down Schneider, down Main Street. They're moving, they're groups, they're cadets, they're out. We've had 100 days with no business. We get one night. And now you're gonna make an issue about it, well, I'm gonna make an issue about it too. Because maybe the people that are calling, it seems to be singular at this point. One more call, how about we give you a ticket for interfering with the 911, because the police can't do their job. Real simple. And I'll push that issue. My personal opinion is, 911 is important, please, don't call the police unless you know it's an absolute emergency. Because when they gotta come out of their car or up the street and stand in my bar for 10 minutes with the sheriff on Saturday night and didn't find one problem with our music, something's wrong. Done.
Gentleman in the back,
Myself?
yes.
I don't have
Anything?
any comments.
Why are you here?
I'm here representing Richard Sheriff from New York State Assembly.
Oh, okay, excellent, thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
One other thing, you said the Chambers meeting was Thursday night, it's not, it's tomorrow night, 5:30.
It's tomorrow.
Tuesday night,
Thank you.
5:30.
I knew it was a tape, It's not Thursday. Correction, tomorrow night, yes, you're right, it's not my calendar, you're right.
Whoa.
Tomorrow night, 5:30 at Loma's is Business Improvement Committee, followed by the Chamber. Again, we're asking businesses to please make note and do your best to get there. Okay, no more public comment. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I need a motion to move an executive session for purpose and current discuss purposes and current legislation. Excuse me? We did bills and claims. We did bills and claims. Not to worry, we're there. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do I have a motion to move an executive session?
We do.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Executive session. Thank you once again.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, yeah.
No, smile.
I
Good day.
am, no, you can call me, you can walk down. You can
Go
walk
home.
me
Go give him a
4
hug.
steps